Hello, viewers and listeners. Before the podcast, I want to say thank you to everyone so much for your support and prayers when we are on a break. For those of you who don't know, I had my appendix rupture, and because of a previous incorrect diagnosis, I waited before going to see a doctor. And due to that, my healing took a lot longer than expected. I want to let everyone know I saw your prayers, care, and concerns. But I'm back at it 100% now, working to make this platform, your platform, the best it can be. This season, there will be alternate hosts every week till we found a more permanent host. Who will be hosting, the dates, and the times of recordings will be announced on our Twitter, the Spellbound Discord, and Spellbound Plus. This week, we were able to have our biggest fan, Matthias, on the podcast. Does this mean we are affiliated? Not at all. We are still a made by fans, for fans podcast. We are Subject 4 and always will be. Thank you so much for being loyal listeners and viewers. Now, without further ado, let's start the Subject 4 podcast.
Subject 4.
Welcome everyone to the Subject 4 fan-made podcast. We're a fan-made podcast of the 863 series created by Matthias and his lovely, lovely team over at Spellbound. Today we are going to go over Season 2, Episode 1.
Subject 4.
All right, so in this episode, there will not be any raise of the curtain. You will not get any BTS. Matthias and his team already have a Spellbound podcast. They'll probably give you BTS over there. We're strictly just about 863 in this episode. Anyways, I would like to introduce our lovely guest, Matthias.
Hi.
Apparently, he's shy and nervous because he's a big, huge fan. So, you started a little thing. Do you want to talk about your little thing, your little project on the internet here that you have me working on?
Dude, I didn't... Oh, you mean Spellbound?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about 863, and I was like, I didn't start 863. I got roped into this nightmare. How dare you think I started that?
No, you're Spellbound Plus.
Yeah, so Spellbound. If you are not familiar with Spellbound plus.spellbound.com, is going to be our membership platform, which we're super excited for because we're going to really be boosting our premium offers for Spellbound, our company. And I'm hoping that over the course of time, you guys will really, really enjoy it and have a great community, and we'll be able to connect even better and deeper and have more purpose-driven, filled relationships. So I'm very excited about that.
So what led you to create it?
What led me to create the Spellbound Plus?
Well, yeah, the site.
Yeah, so what led me to create it is the fact that really there's no super great place to have a consistent community. So what I mean by that is like Discord's great, like Twitter's pretty decent, you know, Instagram, there's people there, YouTube, there's people there. But one of the issues that we're trying to solve, which I'm not sure we've quite solved it yet, but one of the things we're trying to do is surface the content and actually surface like what are people being entertained by right next to the community discussions. You see what I'm saying? So for instance, you guys all here, it's awesome, but the sad thing was that you guys, since YouTube is not a really great place to have a community, you guys all had to find each other. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
It really did suck.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like the Wild West out there for communities. So for at least our communities, we want to create a place that's going to have the content, the creators, and the community all in one, so we can have, again, like I said, a purpose-driven relationship with each other.
And
I'm excited about it.
What I think a lot of fans are excited about is that it's free to sign up and it's free to join the community, which it should be. It should be a
Yes.
free community. Whether you have to pay for features or not, like if you pay for the premium package, you're basically funding funding for better content. You're funding for what you what you enjoy and you're making theories about when you hit the premium and you pay your $4.99 in the month, you're basically buying into this to basically say this is a good investment. So
yeah, and that means the world to us. Like we are so excited, and a lot of the internal discussions right now that we're having is like internally we're not happy with the premium offerings. We're like, we want to add more, we want to add more, we want to add more. And so some people know I've reached out to certain communities. Some people know that we're really working on like how can we continue to keep adding value so that your hard-earned money, like you feel good about that and you're getting a sense of community and it's fun. So we're working on it pretty hard right now. Got a small team, but I'm really proud of them. Really proud of them. Yeah.
So also you have some other channels. You have Behind 863 and We Are 863. What are those and what can they do?
So We Are 863 is basically an offshoot of Project 863 because we just wanted to create more content with the community, and uploading the main videos on Project 863 along with the Reddit stuff, we got a lot of feedback from the community that like some people just wanted the story and some people really enjoyed like the community and the Reddit and like the the top post type video that were reacting to everyone's theories and things of that nature. And so we heard that loud and clear, and we thought, well, we really love doing it too, but we also we want to find like a win-win situation. So offshoot it onto its own channel where we can really go in deep with some of that stuff, have videos multiple times a week that all focus on everything you guys are creating and doing and helping, and we're just really excited about it. So yeah, so that's We Are 863 that we're talking about there. Yeah. And Behind 863 is basically how it all happens. You know what I mean? How the magic is made.
Yep,
you know, you see how the sausage is manufactured. Is that the saying?
Yeah. Well, it's.
How the sausage is made.
I have no idea what that saying is. Maybe. Maybe that's something you picked up in Florida. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, as a moderator and as a fan, as someone who is part of Subject 4, I know that we're all excited for this new content, and we're all excited for Spellbound, despite all the kinks that happen on the launch, and despite the kinks that are still arising. We're still, it's still.
Which I should probably mention, right?
If you want to.
I'll mention it. Okay. I don't want to break people's hearts, but one of the things we actually have to steer away from, because the YouTube algorithm, the fun YouTube algorithm, I'm sure you guys are well aware, I don't need to lament the algorithm, but right now, early releasing on Spellbound is literally killing us in the algorithm. So we're having to push all early releases up on YouTube. So what that means is everyone gets early releases on YouTube. So typically speaking, not typically speaking, but generally speaking, all these early releases are just going to like be funneled in through the next couple of days, and we're going to catch up on YouTube itself. And hopefully people will still go over to Spellbound and enjoy this community, and we'll be able to provide value in other ways. But releasing content early on Spellbound is just killing us because of the algorithm. So that's a unfortunate little piece that we're realizing, but we got to adapt. And I'm really thankful that I have an audience that's just they listen and they understand, and they also understand that we're doing our best to make sure that this thing keeps existing.
Well,
that's pretty much our main concern right now.
If it doesn't exist, what do we do?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that breaks my heart, because I know there's so many people that really love to be here. So I really want to make sure that this is something that stays. You know what I mean? Like stays for a long time.
Well, so, you basically gave us this like home, this family, this community, and we have to also understand that we have to protect it as well as you have to protect it. So I think there's a big understanding amongst fans, like, hey, we get it type of thing. You have to do it, because if you go under, then it's all like, well, what happens to the community? Yeah. The community also goes under. So
it just kind of dies and fizzles out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that kind of sucks. And so just wanted to say, all of you who are supporting Spellbound Plus right now, with the premium tier, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being an early adopter. Thank you so much for trusting us that we're going to figure this out and we're going to give you guys value. Means the world to us that just like this small little company that's not like this big media conglomerate of like, that's like canceling seasons left and right. But not that, we haven't canceled channels in the past, but we're not canceling this one. But thank you so much for being a part of this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, please don't cancel 863 because then I'm canceled.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly, right. I mean,
Yeah, and then all the fan projects.
Cancellations.
All the
Yeah,
fan projects.
exactly.
So it's
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think on behalf of the community, I'll just speak for us. I think we all understand, and I think we all can agree that we all have to look after the company. Like, even though we're here for 863, or some might be here because of Dope or Nope, like we all are here just because of Spellbound, and we have to protect Spellbound just as much as we protect 863. So,
well, thank you so much. Very kind words. Very sweet. I appreciate that.
So we'll just jump into our regularly scheduled program after that announcement. And you guys got it first, so.
You guys got it first, yeah. Straight up first.
Yeah. Subject 2 and subject 3 are like, what? No.
Yeah, subject 2 and subject. Yeah, no, straight up. Straight up. I'm not even sure Woods knows. I haven't had a chance to talk to him today. Sam knows.
Subject 4 knew before subject 3. That should be a meme. Someone out there who's really good at making memes, please make that.
Yeah, that's funny. That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
We all have together now.
Yes, that's nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the episode, the very first episode after your break. I'm going to go ahead and go through kind of the main points and the beats here. If I miss anything, feel free to interrupt, Matthias.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first, again, we are talking about season 2, episode 1. And the episode starts off with D3B telling the team that she hid the rest of the serum. West and I purposely scattered half of what remained of the serum across the valley before I hid the other half in order to stall for more time with Nelson. Then we officially learned that contact with West has been severed with Deb. Uploading the video of finding the server under the stairs will start a more dangerous chain of events. And they did. You guys did upload that video to us.
Yeah, we didn't listen to her.
You're like, yeah, whatever. I don't believe her. That was dumb, by the way.
Well, I mean, like, I was just thinking, like, how much worse could it get? You know what I mean?
It's true.
I guess worse.
And we find out in this episode that...
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, they look for the RSD, the radioactive serum detector behind the server, which was extremely heavy for you to lift, apparently. Underneath the stairs.
It was heavy, all right? That thing, it's just a computer, but it's straight up like 50 pounds.
Oh, yeah, I know. Back in the 90s, computers were like, the entire desk was filled with the computers.
Yeah, what do they have, lead in them? Like, what's so heavy? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Got my MacBook Air over here.
Yeah, your MacBook. Anyways. The RSD opens a website where they can find exact coordinates of the serum website, copyright 2002-2003 of Syntech. Last updated March 4th, 2003. And then Matthias, you made the quote, why did they need this? Why did Syntech develop this? That's my big question.
Yeah. And I honestly haven't gotten a ton of really solid theories about that right now. And so there's some pieces that I feel like I just need a little bit more information on to figure out fully, but that's one of them. It's like, okay, why on earth would Syntech develop that software, right? It's like, it's not like Deb or her 863 project had something to do with it. That was a program developed by Syntech. Why?
That is interesting.
Why?
Probably to keep track of their radioactive material.
Yeah, but why would they need to keep track of it? Like, unless there was some sort of big
you don't
leak.
You don't want like yellow cake uranium like just going missing.
Yeah, that's true. So you're saying maybe it was preventative.
Maybe. I don't know. That's just my thought, the top of my head. I would have to
That's not a bad thought.
I would have to go back and do more research and stuff. Let's see. They find the serum behind the dumpster in a fake pipe. And my producer, who is Zander, wanted me to note that would make a really good Dope or Nope product, is the fake pipe.
The fake pipe.
Yeah, that should be a Dope or Nope series. How to hide your radioactive serum. and just see if you can find anything of that on Wish or something.
Yeah, 10 different ways to hide your serum.
Yeah. Where was I? So, the substance is red, and you've never encountered a red substance before.
Correct. Yeah, never encountered red.
And you decide to close the RSD and revamp the vault.
Can we rewind for a second? Because
Yes.
one of the things I'm seeing around is that people think we've found clear, blue, and red. But in reality, we've only found clear and red. The blue was the color of the glass.
Yeah. It was a different
But what
vial, but...
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a different vial. I don't know why it's a different vial. It could be a different strain or a different, what do you call them? Version? I don't know. And what do you do in like when they're creating like vaccines and stuff? Like, what would they call that? Almost like a different, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like a
I've
different
never
version,
created
basically.
a vaccine.
Yeah, but you have like so much
I do
knowledge
have a medical
that's-
degree, but it's in nursing and it's just a nursing assistant. And never, you know, they didn't ask us to make vaccines very often, but basically
Copy that.
vials, like a
Yeah.
vial of vaccine is what they would probably call it. There's probably a technical name for like those kind of like nerdy ones, but any nurse will just call it a vial.
Variant trial vials says yeethitis.
Okay.
Different batch. Some people are saying that's
But one of the things that I noticed and why it kind of is all like, okay, I can kind of get why it's in a different vial. It was in a different like. The first batch that you found was like under a thumbprint and a code and this really neat looking case. And the second one is a hole in the wall with foil wrapped around a box.
Yeah.
So I think is it was probably stolen really quickly, put into the nearest containers, thrown into a box with foil on it, and thrown into the wall. So because it doesn't seem like it was handled with care.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've seen some theories that are actually saying that might be lead tape, which might explain it too. But that also made me scary because now I'm like, I touched that.
Well,
so I don't know.
I mean, it
Not
got on your
foil.
floor, and Woods cleaned it up with a paper towel. So
Yeah.
and
exactly.
it did say in your subject file and in the on the computer when it was confirmed that you're subject one, it did say that you came in contact or came near.
Came near it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever actually come in contact with it
No.
because I'm not sure what the heck that would do to me. But I'm scared.
So we still haven't gone through the whole episode yet.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, so you find it's red. You decide to close the RSD and revamp the vault, and we can kind of see the new 863 area, but that's about it. And then you come back after a break. The power goes out. You realize smoke is coming from the vent. They evacuate everyone. You send Woods upstairs to get everyone outside. And Kevin calls 911, but we got no more info on that part about 911.
Yeah. He didn't call the police department. He just called paramedics, but everyone was fine. So they showed up though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no police showed up. But that's interesting. I didn't
is.
think of that. It's just been a little bit crazy, but it's been crazy here. We've been just going on all these different hunts.
Yes. Yes. You
guys
are now.
haven't even seen everything yet. But
You are now what my name is. You're hunting. So
what do you mean your name?
Artemis. Artemis is the goddess of the hunt.
Oh,
Now
that's
you
cool.
know why I
didn't know
chose it, because we're hunting Cyphus. Nah. That, and I wanted
like
to be
that.
on top of every poster we would make or whatever, because
that.
that's what
funny.
my friends in real life say. They were like, yeah, you just chose that name because it starts with A and your real one doesn't.
I believe that.
Anyway, you guys go outside. You realize Woods is not there. You rush upstairs.
Yeah, that was scary.
And at 28 minutes and 52 seconds, we see a red light that's actually behind you when you're checking on Sam. And then you guys you guys are looking for Woods, and then you guys find him, and he is bleeding on the back of his head. And you notice the computer is on, and the Phantom had located the coordinates of the next serum.
Yeah.
Samantha notices the Phantom at the end of the video, and the cliffhanger is your word saying, "We have to go after him. He's got the coordinates."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, pretty scary.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. That seems pretty scary. I do have some questions for you before we jump into the audience.
Let's get into them, for sure.
Okay. First, how's Woods?
Woods is okay. Woods
Are you
is okay.
sure?
Woods, well, like the big question is Woods okay, right?
Yes.
Everyone's been spamming that everywhere.
Yes.
And I'll be honest with you, it's hard to answer that question because the real question is, was he ever? Is subject to be ever okay? You know what I mean? Maybe he's more okay now that he got hit in the head. We don't know. Time will tell. But he's alive.
Yeah, okay.
He's alive.
Everyone on Spellbound is definitely, and I'm the kind of jerk that's all like, nah, he's dead. I either say he's dead or yeah, he's okay, he's got a headache.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been saying.
He's alive
Okay.
and he's recovering for sure.
All right.
He's good.
All right. So, do you think it's suspicious that the Phantom knew exactly where the computer was and how to find it in the smoke, especially since you did not upload that video? That portion of the video.
Yeah. So, wait, what are you specifically asking?
So, you guys could barely find Woods, right?
Yeah.
This guy knew how to A, get in the office, B, know exactly where the computer was because he wasn't looking around. He just went right upstairs or came down from the stairs like the other guy did in the vault. But he knew exactly where the computer was. And
well, I wouldn't necessarily say he knew exactly where the computer was, right? I can't see on the cameras because it's totally smoked out. That entire period of time was smoked out, and you could literally see maybe 2 inches in front of a Nest camera. So it's hard to know whether or not he actually scoured the place looking for the thing. You know what I mean? So
that's the thing. You're in an office building full of computers.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like if you go back and you start a timer from when you are laying in your chair trying to get out of the chair because the power went out, to when you guys find Woods, that's not a lot of time. So
yeah.
So he beelined it straight for there because it's an office. He would have to be looking. He didn't even check the hole. He didn't even check where the server was. Like he knew exactly where to go.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And
I don't know that he didn't check anywhere else because I don't have a confirmation that he actually came in through the door. He could have come in through the ceiling again. Yeah. Couldn't he?
Because you guys have a floating ceiling.
Exactly. So like the minute the lights went out, he could have already been in.
Yes. And
that
he
was
could
a
have
decent
been
amount of time.
Here's something creepy for you, Matthias. He could have been above you when you told them to just leave the computer in the conference room.
Wait, what?
You have a floating ceiling.
No, stop
He
it.
could have been up in the roof while you were telling Sam where to put the vial and Woods keep the computer there. He could have been there.
You're saying this guy lives in my roof?
Could be.
Stop.
I would check that out after we're done here. Don't do it now, but do it later.
Ends recording. I gotta go, guys.
All right. So I would definitely, that is definitely, if I would put a Nest camera above the ceiling.
It's just gonna be darkness.
Well, get an IR one.
Yeah.
You have one of those. We've seen Cyphus under IR, and that caused a huge.
Yeah, that's
People
true.
thinking he was wearing a lab coat, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's true. It was just like, I had that happen before too. That's happened before to me on camera, and I did some research, and there's some sort of fabric called Radion or something like that, or Radiol, or I don't know.
Well, it's
And
also it does. It's also because it reflects. Black will reflect the light of the IR.
well, yeah, some sort of synthetic fabric
Yeah.
that specifically reflects it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I made a
Yeah,
huge.
radon.
I made a
Radon? No.
huge post on the subreddit about what is IR, what is UV, what is IR, what's the difference, and how can it see, and this is why it picked up that, because even your jacket came up
Yeah.
white.
Subject 863081 says it's rayon, and that is correct.
Yeah.
Rayon fabric. So that's what I noticed has that effect in IR light, because it also reflects the just in a non-IR. My IR might have something to do with it, but it also does that in a normal camera if you go out into the sun. Like your black clothes that have rayon will look purple on camera. So super interesting.
Well, we'll move on to after.
No, I want to talk about rayon still.
No. Hi everyone, this is Artemis from the future. While editing, I did cut this part out because Matthias did go on about rayon for another half an hour. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something lighthearted. There are
Okay.
a lot of theories you have seen. What are your
Yes.
favorites, and have some of them made you laugh?
Made me laugh. Yeah. So one of my favorite theories that I've seen recently is the theory about Deb and Nelson being siblings.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, we
Or
talked about that in the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really interesting theory.
Mhm.
Or also, it's another interesting theory is that there was a theory that said Deb, the reason why her last name isn't shown was because it is Cyphus.
Mm.
Because she's married to Nelson and then had some affair with Wes.
Ooh.
I don't know about that, but that's an interesting explanation.
Ooh, we're going into like days of our lives right there.
Yeah, right? That's interesting. I think that could explain some things, but I don't know. It's a good theory, but I don't know if I have any evidence besides, evidence of, just things that have been excluded.
Well, has any of the theories ever make you laugh? Like you're like,
Laugh.
oh my god. I know the theory
Well-
I shared before this podcast made you laugh.
Wait, what was that?
My fan fiction. I hope she's out there.
Oh yeah,
Thank you for writing that.
There's a theory that Artemis is Deb.
Yes.
That one made me laugh
Yeah.
because, it does align. It made me laugh because it aligns a little too well.
It does. It
You know what
so
I mean? Like
does.
you're kind of this girl who like knows it all, and she's like like trying to get things done and stuff like that, and like starting this subject for podcast. And so I'm like, things are aligning. I gotta look out for you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's true.
No, I'm just
that
a
one
girl
got me
with too
laughing.
much time on her hands.
Just a girl too much. Yeah, so does Deb though. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think so.
You don't
I
think
don't think
so?
she's just sitting around waiting for your YouTube videos. I think
What is she doing then?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm not her.
The most cryptic person ever. It's just like, hey, you do this for me now. Yes, sir.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Next question. Security. We kind of hit on that. Have you upped your security? You kept talking about it in season 1 about getting a new security system, and don't go
Yeah.
into too much detail because we want you and your team to be safe, but have you been able to get a better security system going?
Yes, so we have a better security system going. That is accurate. We've reinforced the vaults. You'll see that if you haven't already seen episode 2. I don't know what we're talking about here, just episode 1. But episode 2 is out on Spellbound as well. But you'll see that in episode 2 if you haven't already, that we've definitely put some work in at least in the physical sense, that the vault is, you're not breaking into that anymore.
That's good. And have you prepped your team for dangerous situations?
Yeah, I feel like that's just an ongoing thing.
You're learning on the fly.
Well, I mean, like it's like my team and people who get hired here are just like, yeah, okay, we're going into some dark territory here. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of just like hazards of the job.
Well, hazards of the job. Have you ever thought about like just quitting, not doing what Deb says, stop playing Deb's game? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of episode 1, take a break because it was just too much. It was too much, way too much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all through season 1, it was like that. It was like, I don't know if I want to do, but now we're all here, and I'm not entirely sure there's any other way.
That you can't just be like, forget it, get your own stuff.
I just don't think that's so. Here, I've got some theories, right? Part of me feels almost like it was all planned. Does that make sense? Like, almost as if it's like whatever I choose, maybe that was an expected choice to begin with. At least that's what it felt like for the first up until we talked to Deb, especially when we talked to Deb. Finding all those documents, Sam's birthday,
with your names,
and everything.
Yeah,
with our names and things that they shouldn't have known about us, right? So it's like part of me feels, do I even really have a choice? You know what I mean? And if I avoid it, will it just come back harder? And also, it's hard for me to quit something personally.
It's hard. Stubborn.
Yeah, you could say that. I'm stubborn with things that I feel like I can accomplish, and I feel like if we band together and we figure this out together, I feel like we can do this.
It's also stubbornness of the mystery. You have to stick it through to see the end.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I'm slightly too curious for my own good.
All right, so we do have some write-in questions before we jump into calling people up on stage. The first question I have here is actually from she's the number one fan of this podcast, and she is the most supportive person in this community, and I love her dearly. Her name is Existing Airport. That's her username. And when we put it out there that you were going to be joining and submit your questions, this is her question. She said, I'd honestly ask him just a simple question. How are you doing? Like, how are you doing mentally? She just wants to check up on you. So how are you doing? How are you doing mentally? That's all she wants to know.
Yeah. Now better. Part of the reason why I took a break is because I mentally and physically I couldn't, and it was just too much, right? And you kind of see that at the end of episode 1, but what I didn't really clarify, and what I probably won't talk about in videos to that extent, is physically and mentally what I've been dealing with, which I'm sure some of you know because it's actually relatively common. But I got when was this? This was March. March was the beginning of quarter 2, right?
Yeah.
January, February, March. Yeah. Wait, no, January, February, March, April 1st.
It was around the time I got sick.
Yes, yeah, almost at the exact same time, right? So around April 1st, I came down with costochondritis, and that was terrifying because for 2 straight months I had no idea what I had, and I thought I was going to die of a heart attack any second. If any of you have costochondritis, you know that if you don't know what it is, your life quickly devolves into extreme paranoia and anxiety disorder because you think you're going to die, because straight up every day it feels like you're having a heart attack, and you go into ER like once a week, and you start to know people at urgent care and ER. Everyone's like, you're right, you're totally right. You're fine, there's nothing here. But we also only are taking let's say a cardio, what do they call it? Not an echocardiogram, but a EKG. And it's only an acute test. So they don't know if there's actually something wrong with your heart with EKG. So they're like, go home. If it happens again, let us know. And they take blood tests. And it doesn't seem like you had a heart attack. So it's been bad. It's been really, really bad. And once I finally figured out what the heck I had, at that point, then it was, the fear had started to subside. You know what I mean? Like the panic attacks have started to subside. And like, I don't want to go too dark here, but but I'm a person. I struggle.
Well, it's a scary thing, especially when you're going through something medically your body is telling you something is wrong, and
Yeah.
medically they're like, we have to run all these tests, we don't know what's wrong. And the moment you hear we don't know what's wrong, it's like, well,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to know? So
Yeah.
it is very scary, and it's a very real thing that
Yeah.
many listeners probably have gone through.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it has, because once I finally figured it out, I read some statistic that said 15 to 30% of people that go into the ER for heart pain, it's actually costo.
Mm,
And that's crazy. You know what I mean? And there's,
that's a big number.
yeah, and there's a subreddit that I now follow for costochondritis, and they've been pretty helpful at, um, figuring out ways to minimize and ease the pain. But some of them have had it for 15 years. And basically, just a quick representation of what costochondritis is basically what they think it is.
Yeah,
What they
they
think
don't.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they think it is like your back seizes up and it locks your back ribs in place, which creates extra mobility and movement in the joints and in the sternum. So this extra movement in your ribs creates tremendous inflammation, like squishing your organs, and really, really painful. And it feels like a heart attack all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been a challenge. Yeah. So, but now that I know what it is, it's more of just like living with a lot of pain rather than living with pain and anxiety. So life has improved.
Well, that, and
Yeah.
now that you have a diagnosis, you can now know what to expect. You now know that you're not alone. You now know you're not a freak.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said you found a community that kind of can support you, and they can tell you what
Yeah.
helps alleviate their pain, and you can go
Yeah.
from there. So yeah.
Yeah, what's helped, if anyone has it, what's helped is the back pod and doing those back pod stretches. And that's probably the thing that's helped the most.
Yeah.
Stretching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's your answer, airport. I love her. Let's go. I do have a write-in theory for you.
Nice.
Marcy Whitlock on Spellbound Plus said, basically, her post basically says, let them have, if you can trace the serum, why not just let them have it and then follow them back?
Oh, that's a smart idea. That's a smart idea.
Sorry, that was Mallory West that said that. But yeah, why not just let Cyphus have the serums, and then you will be able to find his hideout. And
you know why not?
Why?
Because I hadn't thought of it.
Well,
that's why not.
When I read that, I'm like, oh God, that is so smart. And then I thought about, like, well, what's for him to, like, who's to say that his hideout is near you?
And also, here's the thing. Who's to say that you can always trace it? True. Right? Like, what if...
You don't know how far that goes. Well, it ended up in South America when you first opened it, but...
Yeah, right. Yeah. But what if it ends up far away? What if he has some sort of container that blocks it? You know what I mean? Because, like, the way this serum machine is working is it's not locating everything at once. It's being systematic for some reason. Right? Like, I can't get to the next coordinates unless I collect the first.
Yes.
It's kind of bizarre that way.
Like a game.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. I don't like that idea.
You're in a video game right now.
I'm in a video game. I'm just someone's pawn.
That's like that movie Gamer.
Yeah.
Somebody's
like,
just,
what Brandon said here. He said, what if there's some sort of lead-encased transport where it can't be traced? Because that would make sense. That would make total sense.
You're also right next to the ocean. They could just easily put it on a boat, and then what are you going to do? Run after them in your Tesla? Like,
I'm going to swim real fast.
Teslas don't have a boat feature.
Yeah. Not yet. I'm getting it installed.
Getting it installed. Oh, okay. So we do, okay, Marcy Whitlock actually said on Spellbound, what if the phantoms that are breaking in are test subjects and they were let go after Syntax closed? They don't know who Cyphus is, but they're just going after the Lice blood because that is like the cure to whatever Syntax did to them.
Yeah.
So what
That's
if the minions
interesting.
are actually what if the phantoms are actually patients?
Does that track though? Does that theory actually track?
If you
Like,
think about it, that would explain why he was so erratic in text messages.
okay, but that doesn't explain why he said this. I don't want to have to talk to Nelson. I'm going to have to.
True. So they probably might need maybe.
Or maybe he was just still using that as a threat.
Well, building upon this theory, let's
Yeah.
say that they do know who Nelson Cyphus is because he now has them working for him because now they're basically slaves to him.
Yeah.
Because they need this serum as much as Cyphus does because whatever he did to them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you could be dealing with some like mental patients or something.
Yeah, or just possibly really deranged from some chemicals.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Alrighty, you ready to talk to some subject 4 peeps other than me?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Hello.
Hi. Hi,
What's
cover.
up? What's
Hi,
up?
Matt.
How's it going?
Very good, very good. I enjoy your video. Just want to say that. I
Thank you.
appreciate. Yeah. So yeah, my question was just you guys kind of already touched on this, but I just wanted to ask, like, how do you think the Phantom or whoever that was that broke in, how do you think he got in the studio?
Yeah. My guess, my personal guess, not a confirmation of like what's actually happened because I don't think we can ever confirm it because like I said earlier, the cameras are all fogged out, which sucks. My guess is that he probably smoked out the building with the intention to have me just open the doors and to let the smoke out. So my guess is that when I first either or, it could have happened either or, right? When I first opened up the front door or the back door, he came in through one of those doors, and when we were out, just kind of like searched around real quick while Woods was still up there. Probably didn't anticipate coming in contact with Woods, and just like saw him and just was like, okay, here's a metal bat to the head, you know? I don't know. That's my
Ooh,
guess.
a metal bat to the head. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what he used to smash the Apple II.
Oh, so you think he used the same bat to smash open Woods?
I don't know. Isn't it pretty hard to like knock someone unconscious?
Not if you hit him in the right spot.
All right, I'm gonna have to talk to you later about how to do.
I think you could talk to Bailey about it.
Oh, geez. Okay,
Just saying.
that's funny.
So,
Okay, cool.
did that answer your question, cover?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate you, dude.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. I see pastel polar bears. She here. So meet Matthias.
Hi.
Sir. And Artemis, thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
You're welcome.
How's it going?
My question is kind of lengthy, and I apologize in advance for that.
No worries.
Okay, so whenever you and the crew first bought the Mountaineer, and you all were going through the evidence,
Hmm.
you found a manila envelope, and inside it were some satellite images and snippets from a leaked government document about psychoelectronic weapon effects.
Yeah.
If you remember how that was done, there was what they called a mass, which is just what they called their signal transmitter.
Like a tower.
Yeah, it was very similar in design to a radio tower, and it could
Mm.
also be attached to like the top of a vehicle. Is there a possibility that what you, Sam, and Woods saw on top of the roof was one of those probes?
Oh, it's a definite possibility. But I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Because the way we followed the wires, right? The way we followed the wires. Now let me remember this. If I remember correctly, how this was all wired up and what led us to finding that before we actually found the server was that that was like a central point, right? So in other words, the Apple II, if I'm not mistaken, was not wired directly to the server. It was going, or maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm almost positive the server connected to this large antenna, and so did the Apple II. But maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it was. I'd have to go back through that evidence.
Well,
But
what led you to it was behind the Apple II, and you started following it. But
yeah,
the Apple II was connected to the server, so in a way, it was connected to both.
yes, in a way, it was connected to both. So part of me thinks no, simply because I think that is the thing that we're using to contact Deb, because if I remember, we also opened it up and there was an 863 logo on it, right?
Yeah.
So I think I don't think that's that. I think possibly what could be interesting is that maybe Deb repurposed it for communication in some fashion, and maybe it used to do that, but I don't think it's actively doing that now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But there was another theory. That we actually went over on We Are 863. That's kind of similarly linked to this question that you have here. Episode coming out maybe next week or something, where their theory was talking about that tower, and what if whoever takes the serum, injects the serum, ingests the serum, what if once you do that, those towers, that's what makes it so people are mind controlled.
Oh, that is a very good point. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a really, really interesting theory, right? So it's almost as if like there's towers everywhere, and like if somehow people get injected or in the water stream or whatever, they might be controlled. But I don't know.
And that isn't.
Know. That feels maybe too Batman-y.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
During the Soviet Union era, the government,
stop.
our government, actually experimented, especially with using like LSD and stuff, but
Yeah.
actually used mind control. And I can't remember which president it was. It wasn't.
Oh wow.
One of the presidents was. Somebody tried to assassinate one of our presidents, and he firmly, till he was put to death, basically said that he did not remember doing it. He was brainwashed by the Soviet Union and all this other stuff. And there have been, if you research it, I can't look up the experiments right now because I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are experiments that our government actually did, testing on New Yorkers without their knowledge.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's crazy. So
I
it's
mean,
not that far-fetched.
it's not. It's
Wow.
really, really not. And I would, if anyone is from the UK, you would know this person. And I love this person, but a lot of people that I talk to in the UK, they don't like him because they think he's the devil. His name is Darren Brown, and he has done a series where he has manipulated people into robbing a bank for him.
What?
It was all set up. He knew exactly how to do it, but he used psychology and basically mind tricks to make these people rob a bank. He's also made someone fakely assassinate Stephen Fry. So it's not that far-fetched.
That's
So
crazy.
you don't even have to put something in the water. All you have to do is have a conversation and you can brainwash someone.
That's bizarre.
It's very
And I'm
bizarre.
sure it's about finding the right person too.
Well, and
Absolutely.
yeah, this is why the Bible said to, read the word to renew your mind.
Right? Right. No
yeah,
kidding.
so their Jedi tricks won't work on you.
Protected by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
What next?
All right. Did that answer your question, Pastel?
Oh, absolutely. And I believe the president was Nixon, I want to
Was
say.
it Nixon?
Wow.
Yeah, it was either. I wanted to say Reagan, but I don't know. I just want to say Reagan because there was that really cool speech that he did at now I can't think of it. The wall that the Soviet Union built.
Maybe
Yeah,
like-
Berlin.
Yeah, the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
He was making a speech and a balloon popped, and it was right after he was just like almost gunned down. During his speech, a balloon popped out in the crowd, and it sounded like a gunshot. And he said, Ronald Reagan, without hesitating, he just went, "Miss me," and then just kept talking in his speech.
That's funny.
What a bad
That's
A.
too good. Oh my word.
I believe you're right. I think it was Reagan. I'm not
Yeah,
too
no,
good
it's
with-
definitely Reagan because he's my favorite president because of that. Because he's just like, miss me.
Miss me. Miss me with that.
Yeah. All right, thank you
That's
so
funny.
much, Pastel.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Is Panda up?
I'm here.
Hi,
Hi.
Hello.
Panda. Meet Matthias. Matthias, meet Panda.
Hello. How's it going?
Hi. Going good.
Nice.
So I was wondering what led you to keep going down the rabbit hole after you found the first key?
Okay, yeah, great question. A simple answer would be sheer curiosity. Sheer curiosity, right? Like, partly because it's like, yeah, we found it and we dug around a little. Not like my day job isn't like an investigator and it was just a key, right? So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That was fun, but whatever, right? But then, months pass or whatever, or weeks pass, and we keep finding more things, and then we keep investigating more, and then then things start snowballing. Before you know it, you're trapped inside this life. But it's always curiosity in the end. It's always about, okay, I gotta know though. I gotta know, and maybe that's that's the issue, is I have to know, but it's just too curious for my own good, I would say.
I've heard of this curiosity thing. Didn't kill a cat or something?
Yeah, but that cat was dumb.
I have no idea what makes you more different than that cat. Well, to be fair, when you first found the key and then you started finding more keys, you never would have believed it would have led you to being locked into your own vault. Like,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
True.
having
Without a key.
Oh, dang it, you found all these keys and you had no key.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a funny joke right there. Why isn't
Some
that a
dramatic
meme?
irony,
I'm
yeah.
upset that Subject 4 hasn't turned that into a meme.
right?
Honestly.
That's funny.
Thank you so much, Panda, for your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Shade, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good, good.
I am good. I am good. So, Matt, first off, I just want to say that I can't imagine what it must be like for you, Salmon Woods, on pretty much a daily basis
Yeah.
at this point, dealing with everything that's been going on. The studio being broken into, your
Mhm.
property being destroyed, people's safety being put at risk, people being attacked. Sorry if you haven't seen episode 2 yet, spoilers. But it's a lot, and
Yeah.
I can't imagine how physically, mentally, and emotionally draining it must be for you and everyone involved. Now, with that being said, when does it all become too much? When is enough enough? And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, what's the end game for you in all this? Where do you draw the proverbial line in the sand?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's almost like philosophical to a degree. You know what I mean? Like the end game for me personally is to see this guy stopped, right? I think that's important. I think of all the chaos and everything that's happened and all of the horrible things, like I don't think it's much more complicated to a degree than justice. I would say sprinkled in with a little revenge, but I'd like to try and not be that way. But to a large degree, I think there's a large part of me that just says, okay, this isn't right that it exists out there, and right now I'm someone that has some power to stop it, and I have a lot of help from everyone, including Subject 1 and 2, and Subject 4, the power and the might of Subject 4, right? So for me personally, it's like right place, right time. Let's do this, let's see where it takes us. You only live once, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Exactly,
understand because it's like your end game is basically to see this fulfilled, so you know exactly. Well, for one thing, you know exactly why you were a part of all this in the beginning. Like, she needed a fan base. She needed a Subject 4, and how did she know a bunch of YouTubers were going to like take over
Yeah.
the office? Like, yeah, I can see how you want to continue to do that in order
Yeah.
to make sure that you're safe, because how
Yeah,
does
my
somebody
team.
know about that?
Yeah, I honestly, I think it's past that now. I think it's even past just safety. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think it was before we took a break, and now moving into this, I feel like it's shifted more towards just like it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do for us, and it's the right thing to, I would say, take this guy down, right? And supposedly, I don't know why or how or the puzzle, and there's more because this is supposed to be happening for the next 4 or 3.5 or something years. So I'm not even sure if this is just the first piece of the puzzle. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot unknown. But
Mm.
right now, I do know that this isn't right, and we have some power to actually change that. So I think we should.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Thank you so much, Shade, for your question.
Well, thank you so much for you guys having me on. This is really cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear from you, man.
All right.
You too.
Bye. So, I think that's all we can take from the audience right now. I did want to bring out I call them my secret weapons, but they're no longer going to be secret, and they're actually going to probably be your weapons.
Oh, okay.
I have found my people on Spellbound. I am so
Really?
excited. I have found them. I found it was just like one post, and they didn't think anyone was going to see it, but it was one post on the evidence that you had collected, and it was thoroughly documented and so scientific that it was like, I have to talk to these girls. And we have been on our little like Discord DMs just theorizing and picking apart everything you have given us. So they have a couple of
Awesome.
things that could help you on your hunt for Cyphus. So are they here?
Nice.
I believe I'm here. I don't know if Kaylin got in yet.
Yay, welcome.
Hi.
Hello, Matt.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's we were actually coming up with theories not even like 2 hours ago. So
Yeah.
oh, Is
There's
she,
Kaylin.
there she is.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
She has a lovely accent.
All the way from across the pond.
All the way.
Hello. How's it going?
Not too bad.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
The first article, ladies, that I found you guys were looking at a piece of evidence that had a basically it was following a genetic
Yeah, the genetic pedigree
yeah.
chart.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us about it and what led you to your observations? And if you're listening to this on YouTube, it will be posted up on the screen. If you're listening to this in podcast form, it will be in the links, so you can also look at this and understand what these girls are talking about.
Yeah, we had a
Awesome.
moment where we were just like searching through all the evidence, and we came across the pedigree chart, wondering why this sort of piece of paper would be in the Mountaineer to start with. And we looked at the two groups of families, the top one having PKP2 and the second one having DSC2 or DSG2 in the side of the charts.
Yeah.
So, as you do, you hit your Google foo and determined that these were genes that related to heart conditions,
Oh.
particularly those involving cells around the myocardium, which is the area around the heart that makes your heart breathe, if you will.
Oh yeah, like the muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
essentially, it makes the heart pump.
Yeah.
yeah. So based on that info, we thought maybe the serum, which we know is called life's blood, hints at the heart. So it could have very well been an attempt at treating or curing heart conditions, such as one particular one that we came across that is actually related to the PKP2 gene is ARVD, or please pardon me if I say this wrong, arrhythmiogenic right ventricular dysplasia, which basically is
Dysplasia.
it's essentially fat replaces the muscle in the heart. But we think what could have happened then is if this was a treatment for this, or possibly potentially a cure, something went wrong. And it's actually now the serum is like affecting them worse, and they depend on it now to live. So the phantoms are like, they were test subjects essentially for this potential cure, and now they're kind of stuck.
It also explain why they were so desperate to get hold of it.
Yeah.
Because they're either now addicted to it, or it's the only thing that's going to keep them alive.
Yeah.
It could be a bargaining chip as well. And the radioactive side, it could have been nuclear medicine associated with it, something like chemo or radiation, something like that. That could have
And
possibly
that
made.
we were talking about earlier, we were talking about how why is this radioactive? And a lot of these can be treated with chemotherapy, which is radioactive. So
Yeah, we originally thought it because of something that came up at one point, that it was just a tracker, so that you could see where it was within the body. But
like, and when you go in, you might have had this, Matthias, in a test, looking at the heart where they inject a dye into you, and they can track that. So they were thinking along the lines that it could have been that type of like dye.
Yeah. Wow, this is really fascinating.
You better get a pen and paper. Actually, I'm just gonna link you to their research and.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, their research is very thorough.
So hold on, let me see if I can get this straight. Okay, so basically what we're saying here is, okay, so a lot of information here,
Yes.
loving it. So one of the pieces here, though, that I'm almost positive that we saw in, I can't remember which video, but we also heard that the life's blood, it wasn't ever called the serum, was it?
I don't think so.
No,
We've called it the serum.
we call it the serum.
yeah,
So it could be two different things. It's possible that it's two different things. But let's say for a second that it's not, or let's say it is actually. This doesn't even matter. Didn't we hear that lice blood also prevents radiation exposure?
Something. I didn't. Kaylin, you looked at something where it was like how much radiation the human body can take. Wasn't one of the things related to that?
yeah.
There
There
was-
was an MIT study on it.
There was a study from one of the chat logs. They said something about they were looking into how much radiation the human body can take, and there was actually Kaylin found a study that actually had been done on such
Yeah,
a
it's-
thing.
Whoa,
In
that's
an adult,
creepy.
it was 5,000 millirems.
Yeah.
5,000. And then what happens? Death?
Well, that's where you
Absolutely,
get
yeah.
tumors. That's where you get. Well, have you ever
Yeah.
seen the show Chernobyl?
No, actually, I haven't.
Watch just watch the first episode where they're showing the firemen, the very first responders to the Chernobyl incident. And I mean, me watching it, and I don't know if you ladies have seen Chernobyl, but when I was watching it and the firefighters were running in and they just knew, put out this fire. So they're putting out this fire, and one fireman looks over and sees this weird looking rock that came out of the explosion, and he picks it up, and I started screaming. I was like, no! And of course, takes about maybe a couple of seconds, maybe a minute later, his glove is now melted to his hand, and his burns are going all the way down into the bone just from picking up that radioactive rock.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's not a pretty sight. It's very not pretty. And, I would
That's
have
crazy.
to say, I mean, the best thing we could just look at anything that is radioactive, like what she said, when we're going to go beyond that radioactivity, you would have to look at the Fukushima incident, and you would have to look at Chernobyl. So
Yeah, no kidding.
That's what happens.
The reason why I mentioned that, though, is because it was interesting to say, some of the ways that these things can be treated is with radiation. But if this also prevents radiation from getting through, then it really creates a dependency, does it not?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's definitely, it's their research that they have done. We're getting a lot of people, ladies, that just want to see your research. So when you can, if you can post it on Spellbound, and I will collect those links so that they could be in the description of the YouTube video and everything, so people can actually understand like how in depth you guys are going. Because and Matt, if Matt can like go back and see what you guys are up to, and
Yeah, I mean, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. We want to connect all the other pieces of information that came from the Mountaineer.
We started doing that earlier
Cell
today.
Yeah, you
pictures
started
and
going through the
strands
DNA.
and-
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
found an interesting thing on the DNA picture earlier that I want to dig into more. I found an interesting article that actually has the same picture.
Oh,
So it
really?
might
So
be-
about the
yeah.
flies? Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, we're
like-
like, we're, like the audience and Matt have no idea what we're talking about right now. The DNA picture basically is from an experiment that they did on fruit flies, and the common like these different species of flies on how to basically use a compound to
Suppress the
stop?
gene.
Yeah, suppress a gene in
suppress
the
certain gene.
DNA. So
Fascinating.
For those who are completely lost, so am I, because I was at work at the time of this.
Okay, so what would be real quick question though? What would be the point of suppressing a gene in DNA?
well, if we're talking about something medical like sickle cell anemia, or we're talking about other cardio diseases that are passed down genetically, if like I have a genetic disease,
Yeah.
I have retinitis pigmentosus. So if they could, this would be the only cure for what I have for something genetic. They would have to go through our genome, know what specifically causes retinitis pigmentosus, and either like freeze that or enable that. So then I would be cured in a sense, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
Genetic
also a
code.
way to block a genetic pass on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both myself and Comps, I have genetic diseases that are passed down through families.
Mm.
So if you can block it in one, it will stop from being passed down.
The offspring.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
So what about this? So let's think about it this way. What if for a second we entertain the idea that Syntech is the Syntech we actually see that it is? This really nasty corporation, right? And not that they're actually trying to help people. Now, how on earth could you use suppressing a gene or suppressing through these radiation treatments, through, I think what I'm looking here is like inhaled chemotherapy has been proven to be feasible and safe. I'm looking at this like radiation treatments because I think I see the gene photo here, right? In your guys' information.
Yes.
And it's like, what might be a much more sinister use of this? Let's say more focused around like their actual gain of power, right? Because I don't know, like I'm looking at this information being in the Mountaineer, and I'm also knowing that I've seen information in the Mountaineer that was directly linked to someone stalking us, right? And I'm almost certain those things are tied together in some form or fashion. So we're also assuming another assumption that the Phantom, or whoever has been after us for this entire time, has that this is his stuff, right?
mhm.
So I don't think for a second that this guy has cared about other people enough to treat them and to help them. So how would this be utilized in a way that gains him power?
See, we were actually discussing
about
that. Me, Comp Psy Girl, we were actually trying to figure out where this would lead, and because we know that Pegasus was a government contract.
Mhm.
So we were thinking, okay, what are they trying to mutate something?
Yeah.
Because if you know how to stop something, then you could probably know how to program something and reverse it.
So heighten it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And we went down like the Deadpool route and the X-Men,
Yeah,
the
like-
mutated gene type of thing. And basically Deadpool was created because they were trying to activate the X-Men gene, the mutation gene.
Mm.
And
My brain just went down super soldier route.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was the
all
other
that
one
kind
I
of stuff.
mentioned, yeah.
So I know we're going into like the sci-fi, but I mean, a lot of
But what if it's
science comes
not?
from sci-fi. So
What if it's not? What if like?
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, go on.
There was a study a while back as to whether a super soldier was actually a thing that could be created.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't know the outcome of that research, but I remember seeing somewhere that research does exist.
I do know of some. There's a couple of them that are happening. Well, for one thing, in the United States, it's illegal to experiment on humans. Well, have you ever heard of the designer baby?
Yes.
So that is an actual thing. If you want, that's
Yeah.
that. But then you're going into, should we be doing that type of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not thinking that these individuals doing this stuff are cared about the morality of these situations.
And we
If they don't care about the subject, then they're not going to care about the morality.
They don't seem to
Yeah.
care much
Yes.
about anything.
So there
Yeah.
is a way that you could design a super soldier if you wanted to, but you would have to birth them right now. Right now, they would have to be born. You can't just give someone a serum and make them a super soldier. As of right now, the science that we have right now
Yeah.
says they would have to be born, not
Okay.
just all of a sudden be able to off the fly genetically, create a Captain America.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but I
Interesting.
mean that's potentially what we could do. But if, like, let's say we do know that Deb knows future events, she could be in the future where they don't have to birth people.
Yeah. That's true.
So
What if she is potentially one of these successful trials?
true.
Mm.
Yeah.
And she's
There's
a
a lot of
time
what
lord
if.
now. She's a
Yes.
wait, what I can't
Well,
remember
Dr.
what
Deb.
I can't remember the female version.
I mean, she's a scientist, so Dr.
Yeah.
Deb is actually a thing.
Time lady. Sorry, time lady.
That's
She's-
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you guys are close to something, honestly. There's something in here.
Well,
There's
they
something
keep
in here.
building. If you keep producing the evidence, they're going to keep building. So
Yeah, I'll
they
keep
are
finding
now
it.
your weapons. So
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. So
Yep.
I'm gonna keep grabbing this stuff. I'm gonna keep putting it up there. You guys keep solving these clues because this is awesome stuff.
thank you so much,
Absolutely.
ladies.
Just keep updating this document. Feel free to drop in anytime.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Alrighty. So how are you doing on time? We've gone over time, but how are you doing on time?
I'm good. I should probably attend a meeting that I should have been at, but I see Lauren here too. So I think I see Chanel in here listening.
Thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
absolutely. It was so fun.
When I started this podcast, I would have never thought I would have had you on or
Oh.
anybody from Spellbound. I was all like, I was so honored and humbled.
Oh, well, thank you. I was humbled to be invited, so thank you very much.
I know you're our biggest fan.
I am.
You
I
did say
actually
that
am.
on a video. You said you were
I
a
am.
fan, so
I definitely am.
yeah. All right, I wanna thank everyone for coming to this live recording and everyone who is listening, who could not make it, but thank you for being a listener. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being a fan. I want to thank the moderators who are on this Discord who have made this whole thing, this whole event so seamlessly. They were on the ball. We love you, moderators, and all the hard work that you do. Now that I'm actually a moderator, I know all the hard work you're putting into it. I want to thank you guys so much for that. Thank you, Matthias, for coming and being a
Thank
part
you.
of this. And again, subscribe to Subject for Podcast, whether you're watching on Spotify,
Do it.
Apple, Google, Amazon, wherever you're watching. Please subscribe. Also, please go sign up for Spellbound Plus. We're all hanging out there. You'll catch me. You'll catch Matthias there. You'll catch the cast there. Even though the website might have some of the flaws, the community does not. The community is so rich, and it's just so nice to just talk, because I personally don't have friends in real life that understand what I'm doing. But it's so nice to go on and actually build and have friends inside this community. So please go sign up for Spell Plus and subscribe to Project 863 over on YouTube. And like all
Yeah.
the videos.
Do it. Woo!